PTSD, for those who've never heard it, but would hear the initials, don't know what it means. Post-traumatic stress disorder. We typically started seeing that a lot with war veterans, but the research is showing most of the people with PTSD have never been to war. They're not even in the military. They're average people who've gone through a plethora of issues that they never really dealt with. Yeah. But complex PTSD is like a salad bowl of a lot of different traumas, right? It's not just one major thing that traumatizes you. And with the complex PTSD patients, they sometimes feel like EMDR is not working because their immediate approach is, why am I not getting better? And I have to tell them, this is this deep foundational trauma that a lot of it happened your early formative years. Right. You got to be a little patient. You know, you're not going to go through something that had you stuck for decades and come out of it in a month.
Right.
So I tell them, be a little patient. It takes a little longer, but it'll work. Mm-hmm. So that's what I want to say for complex PTSD. It's a little bit more tougher, but you can still push through it.
I actually did an episode just on ACEs and CPTSD that should be coming out in 2 weeks.
Awesome. I'm going to look out for that one.
Okay. And also I just want the listener to know, because what happens is a lot of people are scared. I see this a lot because I'm like, you can hold both bases in your hand where you understand that your childhood, because they still want to love their parental or their caregivers. And I'm not blaming them because it's intergenerational.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to get them to understand, like, no, we're learning where these wounds happen. Mm-hmm. You might have to go through a little time of blaming and being the victim just to heal. And then we move past that and grow from what we went through. And then that's the healing, when you can be that wounded healer, or you see what I mean? So can you...
Absolutely. A lot of my clients, especially I could speak from the African-American and Caribbean context, there's a sense of not being honest of what happened with their caregivers or parents because they almost feel like they're being disloyal.
Yeah, betrayal.
And I tell them, like, all you're doing is telling the truth, and two things could be true. You love your caregivers and parents, but they hurt you and damage you in a lot of ways. The goal is not to shame them.
Exactly.
Right? The goal is to say, if you can finally say what you've been hesitant to say all these years, right? Because we have that natural attachment, which is connection to our parents as little kids, and we don't ever want to lose that. So almost feel like we're disconnecting that by being honest. But what typically happens when you're honest with what occurred and you do the work, now you can see it from a different perspective. Not that you're condoning your parents' behavior, but you could say, they were traumatized too. They've been through a lot. Mom was a single mom. You actually start to feel more compassion for them. Doesn't mean you condone whatever they did to you, but you're seeing it from a different perspective, because